Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, and wondering why sleep just doesn't come as easily as it used to? Maybe you drift off for a bit, only to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, fully alert with your mind racing. Or perhaps you wake up stiff, groggy, and more tired than when you went to bed. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not doing anything wrong. Sleep changes with age, that's a fact. But that doesn't mean poor sleep is just something you have to accept. In fact, there are several hidden reasons why sleep becomes harder after 60. The good news, many of them can be fixed naturally. No sleeping pills, no expensive gadgets, no frustrating bedtime routines. Today, we're going to talk about 5 of the sneakiest reasons older adults struggle to sleep, the ones that often go unnoticed. And more importantly, I'll show you simple, natural ways to deal with each of them. No stress, no overthinking. Just a few small changes that could help you finally enjoy deeper, more refreshing sleep again. Let's start with one that surprises a lot of people. How light, or really the wrong kind of light, messes with your body's natural sleep rhythm. Think back to your younger years. You probably woke up when the sun came up, moved through the day under natural light, and went to bed when it got dark. That's how our bodies are wired. We're built to follow the natural rhythm of sunlight and darkness. But today, that's changed. Now, we're exposed to bright lights long after sunset. Televisions, tablets, smartphones, even bright ceiling lights all send the same signal to your brain. Stay awake. And here's the trick. As we get older, our bodies become less sensitive to natural light during the day and more sensitive to artificial light at night. That means the same habits that didn't bother you before can now completely throw off your internal clock. So what can you do? One of the best things is to simply step outside in the morning. Just 10 to 15 minutes of early sunlight on your skin, without sunglasses if possible, can help reset your body's internal clock. It's like giving your brain a gentle nudge that says, hey, it's morning, let's get moving. Then, as the evening rolls in, start dimming your lights. Switch to soft, warm-toned bulbs if you can. And an hour before bed, try to limit screen time. If you enjoy watching TV in the evening, consider using blue light-blocking glasses. They're inexpensive and can make a real difference. You don't need to overhaul your lifestyle. Just try adjusting your light exposure naturally and see how your sleep responds. For many people, this one simple shift can lead to longer, more restful nights. Now, speaking of natural rhythms, let's talk about something that's deeply connected to light. And that's melatonin. You've probably heard of it before. It's the hormone your body produces to help you fall asleep. But here's what most people don't realize. As you get older, your body naturally makes less melatonin. And it doesn't produce it as consistently either. That doesn't mean you have to start popping melatonin pills every night. In fact, overusing melatonin supplements can backfire and mess up your natural production even more. What you can do, though, is support your body's ability to make its own melatonin naturally. One of the easiest ways is to pay attention to your evening routine. Your body loves signals. When you do the same things each night, whether it's having a cup of herbal tea, reading a few pages from a book, or listening to calming music, your brain starts to associate those activities with winding down. Over time, that gentle routine tells your body, okay, it's time to start producing melatonin and prepare for rest. Some people also find it helpful to include foods that support natural melatonin production, like tart cherries, walnuts, or even a banana an hour before bed. These foods don't work like magic, but they can gently support your system, especially when paired with a calming nighttime routine. Now, while we're on the topic of foods and routines, here's another reason sleep gets tricky after 60. Your digestion. It's something that doesn't often get talked about, but the truth is, our digestive system slows down with age. That means meals, especially heavy or late ones, can take longer to process. And when your body is still working, hard to digest food, it doesn't want to sleep. Instead, it stays active, alert, and slightly tense. Not exactly the recipe for a peaceful night. If you've ever woken up with heartburn, indigestion, or that uncomfortable feeling of fullness, your evening meal might be playing a bigger role than you think. The fix? Try eating your main meal a bit earlier in the evening, ideally 3 to 4 hours before bed. That gives your body time to break down food before you lie down for the night. Also, consider keeping your dinner a little lighter. Think warm, nourishing, but not heavy. A bowl of soup, some steamed vegetables, maybe a small portion of fish or chicken. And if you like to snack later in the evening, keep it small and simple. A handful of almonds, a piece of fruit, or a slice of whole grain toast can be just enough to satisfy you without kicking your digestion into overdrive. These may sound like small changes, but they really do add up. When your body isn't battling the effects of late-night digestion, it can shift more easily into that calm, relaxed state that makes falling asleep and staying asleep so much easier. Now, if you're finding this helpful so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We've got lots more natural tips coming your way to help you sleep better, feel better, and enjoy every stage of life with energy and confidence. And now that we've talked about how light, melatonin, and digestion can all impact your sleep, let's move into something just as important, something many people overlook when they're trying to get better rest. And that's the role of stress. Not the big dramatic kind you might think of, like moving house or dealing with major life changes, but the quiet day-to-day tension that builds up over time. You see, as we get older, we may have fewer external obligations. Maybe we're retired, maybe the kids are grown, but that doesn't mean our minds stop racing. In fact, many seniors say their thoughts seem louder at night. Worries about health, finances, loneliness, or just the future in general. They have a way of creeping in right when you're trying to wind down. And here's the tricky part. Even if you don't feel stressed during the day, your body can still carry that tension into the evening. It shows up in tight shoulders, shallow breathing, or a restless, jumpy feeling when you lie in bed. That physical tension tells your nervous system to stay alert. And when your body's alert, sleep becomes a real challenge. So what can help? One of the most natural and effective tools is something you already know how to do: breathing. Specifically, slow, deep breathing that helps calm the nervous system. Try this the next time you're getting ready for bed. Sit or lie down comfortably, close your eyes and breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Then hold for 4 seconds and breathe out gently through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this for a few minutes. It's simple, it's free, and it works like a charm to signal your body that it's safe to relax. Some folks also find comfort in writing down their thoughts before bed. Just grab a notebook and jot down whatever's on your mind. No rules, no structure, just let it out. That small act of putting thoughts on paper can stop them from swirling around in your head while you're trying to fall asleep. And if you're someone who finds peace in prayer, meditation, or even listening to soft music, lean into that. Your routine doesn't have to look like anyone else's. The goal is simply to tell your body and mind, we're done for the day. It's okay to let go now. And speaking of letting go, let's talk about one more hidden culprit that interferes with sleep. Something that affects millions of older adults, but often goes unrecognized. Dehydration. Yes, really. Not drinking enough water can keep you up at night. It sounds strange at first, but think about it. As we age, our sense of thirst naturally declines. We just don't feel as thirsty as we used to, so we tend to drink less. But even mild dehydration can trigger all kinds of discomfort, from dry mouth and muscle cramps to increased nighttime bathroom trips and even headaches. And when your body's uncomfortable, it wakes you up. The key is to hydrate. strategically. That means getting enough water throughout the day, not just chugging a glass right before bed. Try sipping water slowly during the morning and afternoon, and taper off in the evening. Herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm are a gentle way to stay hydrated while also preparing your body for sleep. And here's a little tip: add a pinch of sea salt or a few drops of lemon juice to your water during the day. It helps your body absorb the water more effectively and keeps your cells balanced. You don't need fancy sports drinks or electrolyte powders, just nature's own ingredients. Another sneaky way dehydration shows up is through dry air. If you sleep with the heat or air conditioning on, your bedroom may be drying out your skin, sinuses, and throat without you realizing it. A simple fix is to use a humidifier at night. Nothing too fancy, just enough to keep the air moist and comfortable. Making sure your body feels physically at ease, not tense, not dry, not wired, is one of the best things you can do for your sleep, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes just drinking a little more water during the day and creating a soothing evening space is all it takes. All of these natural solutions we've talked about, adjusting your light exposure, supporting melatonin, easing digestion, calming stress, and staying hydrated. They don't involve pills, harsh sleep aids, or complicated routines. They're about gently bringing your body back into balance, honoring its needs, and treating yourself with the same care you'd offer a loved one. You deserve that. If you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. That way, you won't miss any of the natural health tips we share here to help you sleep better, feel stronger, and enjoy this stage of life more fully. There's still one more hidden reason many seniors struggle with: sleep, and it's something that goes deeper than any one routine or habit. Let's take a look at that next. And it has to do with something we don't always connect to sleep, but it plays a bigger role than you might think. It's purpose. Now, you might be thinking, what does purpose have to do with sleep? It's a fair question. After all, most sleep advice focuses on bedtime routines, what you eat, or how much screen time you're getting. And yes, those are all important. But there's something deeper that impacts our rest, especially as we get older, and that's how we feel about our days. Think back to when you had a job, a house full of kids, or maybe you were caring for a spouse or aging parent. Your days had structure. You had a reason to get up, to stay active, to move through time with intention. There were plans, goals, and even if life was chaotic, there was a rhythm to it. That rhythm helped guide your body and mind, including when it was time to rest. But when retirement hits, or the house gets quiet, or you've said goodbye to some of the people closest to you, that structure can slip away. Days become slower. Time feels a little looser, and even though rest is something we've often longed for, finally a chance to slow down. Too much unstructured time can actually make sleep harder. It's one of those strange things about being human. When our days feel aimless, our nights often feel restless. Why? Because the brain doesn't just shut off when the sun goes down. It continues processing how we felt during the day. And if those daytime hours felt a little empty, disconnected, or even just dull, the brain stays alert, searching for stimulation or meaning, sometimes in the form of racing thoughts at 2 a.m. But here's the good news. You don't need to fill every hour with activities or set grand goals to fix this. You don't need to go back to school, travel the world, or reinvent yourself. Finding purpose doesn't mean creating pressure. It just means doing something, anything, that brings a little spark back into your life. It might be something social, like meeting a friend for coffee once a week or calling a family member to catch up. It could be creative, painting, writing a short story, trying a new recipe, or learning how to play an instrument. Maybe it's something physical, like gardening, walking at the park, or joining a low-impact fitness class. Or maybe it's something spiritual, Reading scripture, meditating, volunteering at your local place of worship, or simply sitting quietly and connecting with your breath. Even something as simple as feeding the birds in the morning, stretching while listening to music, or keeping a gratitude journal each evening can build a sense of rhythm, a signal that your time matters, that your days have meaning, and that your life is still very much in motion. And that's what helps bring the body into balance. When your mind is at peace, when your heart feels full, even just a little bit, your body receives the message, you're safe. You've done enough today. It's okay to rest. Purpose doesn't have to be heavy. It just needs to be felt. So if sleep has felt distant or unpredictable lately, ask yourself gently, what brings me a sense of joy? What small thing do I look forward to? And if nothing comes to mind right away, that's okay too. You can try something new even today. Start small, explore, be curious. You're not too old to find something that lights you up inside. In fact, this stage of life is a perfect time for it. Now, let's take a moment to gather everything we've talked about, not as a list to memorize, but as reminders of the beautiful natural ways you can support your sleep. We began with light, how artificial lighting and screen exposure can confuse the brain and delay your natural sleep rhythms. By simply stepping outside in the morning light and dimming indoor lights at night, you can reset your internal clock. Then we talked about melatonin, the natural hormone that helps signal sleep. While our bodies produce less of it with age, you can encourage your own production with calming evening routines and melatonin-friendly foods like tart cherries or walnuts. Next came digestion, how late-night eating or heavy meals can leave your body too active to rest. By shifting your dinner earlier and keeping it lighter, you allow your system to settle into a more restful state. We also touched on stress, not the loud kind, but the subtle, daily tension that builds up quietly. Practices like deep breathing, journaling, or even a simple evening prayer can make a powerful difference. Then came hydration, and how too little water during the day or too much too late can disrupt your sleep cycle. Staying hydrated in gentle, balanced ways supports both comfort and rest. And finally, purpose, the deep emotional foundation for peaceful sleep. When your days carry meaning, your nights often carry ease. Each of these pieces supports the others, and they're all things you can begin working on today, right from where you are. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to follow a rigid program. You just need curiosity, patience, and a little compassion for yourself as you try something new. Sleep is a natural process. Your body knows how to do it. It just might need some gentle help returning to its rhythm. So tonight, maybe you dim the lights a bit earlier. Maybe you enjoy a cup of tea and write down one thing you're grateful for. Maybe you step outside tomorrow morning and let the sunlight touch your face, even for a few minutes. These are small actions, but they can create real change over time. If you've enjoyed this conversation, I invite you to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We share natural health tips, uplifting stories, and down-to-earth advice designed just for you, because this stage of life deserves attention, joy, and care. And if something from this video spoke to you, whether it was about stress, digestion, purpose, or anything else, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Your experience might resonate with someone else who's been quietly struggling, and together we can create a space of support and encouragement. Here's to better nights, brighter mornings, and a renewed sense of energy and peace in your days. You are not alone, you are not broken, and it's never too late to feel well-rested, fulfilled, and fully alive. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If anything we talked about today resonated with you, if you've struggled with sleep, or if you've found something that helps, I'd love to hear your story. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got so much more coming your way. Simple, natural tips to help you feel your best, sleep better, and truly enjoy this stage of life. Take good care of yourself and sleep well, my friend. I'll see you in the next video.